Okay, hey guys, let's go over the homework for last night. Happy Valentine's Day. Hope you're having a great day. And you get a 3-day weekend, so yay you. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is find the difference. So remember, a difference is the answer to a subtraction problem. We have 72 minus 65 and 84 hundredths. So we talked about this earlier this week, like a lot, that remember you have to line up your decimals. But if there's no decimal, well, where is the decimal hiding if you don't see it? At the end, right? So when we go to write it down, we write 72.00 minus 65 and 84 hundredths. So yours needs to be lined up like this. If it's not, you need to write it again. Okay, so then we say, can I do 0 minus 4? No, so I borrow. But there's nothing there, so I borrow. So instead of 2, I have 1. And now we can give it to our neighbor. So instead of 0, we have 10. And now that this guy has enough, we can give it to that guy. So 9 and 10. And now we can subtract. So 10 minus 4, we should know our friends of 10 is 6. 9 and 8 would be 1. 1 and 5, uh-oh, we need to borrow again. 11 minus 5 is 6, and 6 minus 6 is nothing. Our decimal goes in one straight line. So say this decimal in your head right now. 6 and 16 hundredths. Okay. The next one is to find the quotient, which we had quite a large divisor here in 36, but I don't think that means that it's impossible. We just have to do some guessing and checking. So we think, how many times does 36 go into 8? It doesn't, so then we check into 89. So if you don't know your 36s already, then it may be a good idea to kind of list some or do some adding to see. 36 and 36 would be 72. So that's pretty close. I'm sure that's right, but I'm going to go ahead and add one more set just to see. So I get 108, and that's obviously too big. So 36 goes into 89 2 times, which we said was 72. We subtract, we get 9, 8, 7, 17 left over. And then bring down our 2. I'm trying to get to 172. I can kind of just keep adding 36s in this case. I mean, that's fine. 144. I think that's going to be it. So 36 goes into 172 1, 2, 3, 4 times, which is 144. We subtract 28 left over, and 288 would be our final thing to divide. So we have to think, how many times will 36 go to 288? Well, it's a pretty big number. This was 108, and that was times 3. So I am going to guess, well, I guess that's really closer to 300. I'm going to try maybe 6 or maybe 7 or 8. So let's try 7. 7 times 3, 21. I'm going to add one more set to see if that is it. Oh my gosh, it's exact. Hooray. So it goes into 288 exactly 8 times with no leftovers. Okay, next order of operations. First one we have is 14 minus 2 times 8 plus 4 plus 7 squared. Oops. So according to our order of operations, what do we do first? Parentheses, right? And we have 2 sets. So if you remember from earlier this week, I said that when you have parentheses, you actually could do them at the same time because their whole deal is that they are separate. So 14 minus 2 is 12 times 8 plus 4 is also 12 plus 7 squared. So we did our parentheses. Now we check for exponents. Got it. 12 times 12 plus 7 squared. What is 7 squared? Whisper it into your hand. I hope you didn't say 14. 7 squared is 7 times 7, which is 49. Now we multiply or add next. Multiply. So 12 times 12 is 144 plus 49. So you can add those up. Ta-da. Oh, I'm wrong. There we go. Okay. And the next one, 13 plus 60 minus 5 squared divided by 10 plus 6. So again, I'm going to do my parentheses separate, but inside this set of parentheses, I actually see 3 operations. So remember, we zoom in, and whichever order of operations, we follow the order of operations inside the parentheses. So what I do, add, subtract, or exponents first. Right, we do exponents. So we've got 13 plus 60 minus 5 squared, which is not 10, it's 25. And I'm going to go ahead and solve this because it's separate. Okay, now add first and then subtract, right? So 13 plus 60 would be 73 minus 25 divided by 16. So 73 minus 25. If you don't know, go off to the side, subtract. So we end up with 48 divided by 16. And you know what I'm thinking? I'm thinking that it's going to be like a multiple, because 8 is a multiple of 6, or 8 is a factor for both of them. So that makes me think that 16 times something will be 48. So I know 16 times 2 is 32, so I bet it's 16 times 3. I was right. Love it. Okay. Next, we are going to evaluate our expressions. We have 9u minus 12 plus r. U is 3, so 9, and then remember what's hiding here. Multiply 9 times u, so 9 times 3 minus 12 plus, instead of r, it is 4. So according to the order of operations, we're going to solve 9 times 3 first. 27 minus 12 plus 4. Now we have add and subtract, so how do we know which one to do first? We got to go left to right. So 27 minus 12 comes up first. So would be 15 plus 4. I'll let you go ahead and add those together and get your final answer. And then in the interest of time, I'm going to hope that you got the other 2 correct, and we're going to go ahead and just move on. The last ones, we are supposed to fill in the blanks to show each property. I think there was one of the classes, one of my math classes, that we didn't get to talk about this one on Tuesday's homework, so it's okay if you didn't get it because we didn't discuss it, but I know that most of the classes talked about it. So the first one, we're supposed to show the associative property, and the problems are the sentence is 4 times 2 times 8. So remember, what does the associative property tell us? It's all about grouping, right? So we need to be able to show that we can group these factors differently. So you could put the 4 times 2 together and then times 8, or you could put 4 times 8 together times 2, and then you could order those differently as well, right? It doesn't matter what order they're in because of the commutative property. Okay, so how do we show the commutative property with 6 times 8 times 3? The commutative property tells us the order of the factors does not change the product. So we could write 3 times 6 times 8. We could write 8 times 6 times 3. Any order, as long as you change the order of the factors, would be showing the commutative property. And then the identity property says 1 times 45, which, remember, a lot of times people put equals 45 times 1, which is not right, because that's showing the commutative property. So what do we write to show the identity property, which says anything times 1 is itself? We write 45. 1 times that number is itself. And then the last one is the distributive property. We've got 8 plus 3 times 4. So we're distributing that 4 to both numbers on the inside. So 4 times 3 plus 4 times 8. 4 times 3 plus 4 times 8. Or you could write 12 plus 32. Either one is good. Okay, and then the last problem is our word problem. It's talking about a factory boxing up teddy bears. It says that they have 832 teddy bears out for delivery. Every large box holds 9 bears. And then the remaining bears, that word remaining is really important. What does remaining mean? So they're saying that they put the bears in boxes of 9, and then they put the remaining bears in one small box. So the word remaining, actually it kind of sounds like one of our math words. What about remainder? Remainder? Right? Remaining, remainder, it means whatever's left over. They're saying whatever bears they have left, they're going to put in a small box, which is cool for us because in division, we know exactly what a remainder is. So I think, if you're careful, that this one is actually pretty clear. To do 9 goes into 832. So 9 goes into 83 9 times, which is 81. The 2 left over. How many times does 9 go into 22? So we get 92 with a remainder of 4. So let's go back to our problem. It says how many bears, so it says the remaining bears are packed in a small box. How many bears were in that small box? So how many bears were left over at the end? 4, because we had a remainder of 4. So how many bears are in that small box? 4. And that's another case of this was on the CRT and you guys got it wrong even though you did all the work right? You got 92 divided by, or 92 remainder 4, but you can bet that they put 92 as an option on there because people who are being careful are going to choose that because they think it's right because it is part of their answer. But if we read the question carefully, it's not what they're asking. So be careful. Read those questions carefully. Ask your homeroom teacher if you can staple your work to the back of your paper and hand it in. If you did not do your homework, then you need to bring it on Tuesday. I hope you guys enjoy your long weekend and have a great Valentine's Day. You're the best. Bye.